Hello, and welcome to this video discussing the city of Athens. Here I will be discussing the city itself, including its geography and its mythological origins, as well as some of the notable events that are important in how we look upon Athens and history. Athens, we have to appreciate the geographical advantages it has as a city before anything else. With access to the Aegean Sea, Sea of Crete, and Mediterranean Sea, the city had a great advantage over its neighbours. Athens had access to trade networks and the large port of Piraeus, which housed a large navy to defend itself with. The city was not only able to expand its influence, using the seas as a trade network, but also used the seas as a natural defense when invaders came to Athenian shores. Over the centuries, many would try and invade Athens, but the natural defense, as well as the navy, were usually more than strong enough defense against any invader. But before any invaders could come to Athenian soil, the city had first to be founded. The mythical founder of Athens was not in fact any of the Olympian gods, but a snake-like creature called Cecrops, who named it after himself, Cecropia. After seeing the prosperity of the city, the gods of Mount Olympus decided that they wanted to become its patron, which eventually boiled down to Athena and Poseidon being the main two in the contest. The contest eventually ended with Athena's victory, and the city being named after her, Athens. This myth may in fact have some truth to it, as Athena's gift, olive trees, can be found all over Athens, and Poseidon, who promised to give water in time of drought, seems to have held his grudge, as Athens suffers from drought regularly. Unfortunately, there isn't too much to say about the legitimacy of half-human, half-snakes in Athens. From the first king of Athens to the last, it's important to talk about Athens before democracy set in when talking about its founding. The last king of Athens was a man named Codrus, the son of Melanthus of Pylos, who eventually became a king of Athens in his own right. During the Dorian invasion or migration of Greece, many battles broke out between the Athenians, who were led by Codrus at the time, and the Dorians themselves. After a prophecy by the Oracle of Delphi was revealed to Codrus, in that an Athenian victory would be guaranteed if the king was killed, Codrus, as a show of his patronage, went undercover and was eventually killed by Dorians after starting a fight. After the Athenian victory, the title of king was abolished and replaced with the term archon. As a small side note, whenever discussing myths or plays, if the Oracle of Delphi says something and someone disobeys it, it's not usually a very good sign for them, as she's usually right. With both the founding and geography of Athens out of the way, the last thing to talk about is how it came to the democracy that we know so. The Peloponnesian War was not only an extremely important moment in Athenian history, but also Greek history at large. The war was a rather complex affair, and as such I've broken down most of the parts of the war on the side. But in summary, despite the war starting out extremely well for the Athenians, it ended up with a Spartan victory in 404 BC, after a peace treaty was signed in 421 BC. The period between 421 BC and 404 BC is not a very good time for the Athenians, as after their After now covering the geography and founding of Athens, it's important to discuss how its most memorable form of democracy came to be. This came following the 30 Tyrants and an extremely important moment in Greek history, the Peloponnesian War. An extremely complex affair, I've broken down as much of the war as I could on the side, in as brief points as possible. The most important takeaway from this war for Athens is its defeat in 404 BC and the implementation of the 30 Tyrants for the next year of 404 BC to 403 BC, which would eventually end up with democracy being fully installed in Athens. Despite only lasting 1 year in power, this group of 30 tyrants is extremely problematic for Athenians, and in their only year in power are recorded to have killed at least 1,500 citizens of Athens unjustly. Though sure, and with the support of Sparta, the citizens of Athens rose up and overthrew them, resulting in a relief carving which now shows the anti-tyrant laws, which was put on the front of the Senate. Athens would then become a mostly democratic society, fully adopting the ways of democracy put forward by Cleisthenes almost a century earlier. With all three functions of the founding of Athens, showing its geography as well as its founding and the founding of democracy, it's safe to say that I've introduced Athens to you on a whole nother scale. This was just a brief introduction to Athens, showing its geography, its founding, and the foundations of democracy following the Peloponnesian War. The points were up in this video are only an introduction, and if you'd like to read further, I've listed some readings which I feel would be beneficial if you feel so inclined. On this channel there will be more videos following on, in particular Athens throughout the classical period, including plays written during this time. Thank you for watching.